Hello, welcome back to the Car Chats. So, Merry Christmas. We're just after Christmas now, I suppose. Happy New Year if you're watching this in the New Year. It is the 30th of December, I think, when I'm recording this. You know, we're in that like time frame between Christmas and New Year's. It's just the twilight zone. In any case, hopefully you've all been getting on well. Train's been going well. I think coming into the new year, coming into 2026, I think you'll always see this with people where they get somewhat reflective of the previous year and then make promises to themselves for the new year. And there's a million and one things out there about people making resolutions and promises themselves, whether it's fitness or even more specifically in powerlifting for a number of competitions or total or dietary adherence or physique goal or whatever it might be. And let me be the 5,000th person to give you a piece of advice. New Year's resolutions are very good and do have it's a meaningful time to start something, you know, because the days matter more when you start from the first. And you're like, okay, every win I stack from now till whatever date is a day I can track. So like every day in January, every day in February, whatever it might be. Whereas you kind of start halfway through the year, like let's say you start 8 weeks out from your holiday for summer or whatever, it feels like you're behind. Whereas this puts you that little bit ahead, saying, right, I'm starting fresh now. So a couple of bits and pieces would be this, rather than talking about specific goals, just some tangible bits and pieces. If you're going to join a gym or you're joining a new gym or you're intending to go to the gym more often, January is going to be busy. And it's just something you need to make peace with. Whether you're an experienced gym goer or a new gym goer, it's going to be busy. Machines are going to be taken, racks are going to be taken, classes are going to be full. That's normal. Personal trainers are usually not as busy in January as most people think they are. It usually takes a month or so for people to cop on that they might need a trainer. So if you are getting started on a fitness journey, whether again it's an aesthetic goal or let's say you've been doing powerlifting training, you want to take it a bit more seriously, or you've never worked with a coach before, start now because this is the best time to start. Rather than waiting until March, you know, you get to Paddy's Day and go, all right, I have enough fucking breeze what I'm doing, and I'm 8 weeks out from a meet, or I'm whatever, 12 weeks out from my holiday. Get it going now, and now is the best time rather than trying to suss it out yourself. I try to say this to everybody. When it comes to most things you're going to do, like, most people listening to this don't service their own car. They don't fucking like do all their own oil changes and all that. A lot of people bring this to a garage. If people are getting some work done in their house, they're usually getting a qualified electrician. They're not always trying to do it themselves. Like, so there are things you can do yourselves, particularly now in the day and age of Google and ChatGPT. But it's why bother putting the extra bandwidth to it, particularly if you've got the excess resource and you've got the cash. Just hire someone for a little while and see if it's worthwhile for you. That would be one thing. So be ready for it to be busy. And if you're considering, taking things more seriously, maybe hire a professional, at least for a fixed period of time. The other piece of it is you will be extremely motivated initially, but that motivation will die. Like, it just does. After like 6 to 8 weeks, you're really going to have to rely on the habits you formed in that initial period, because things will start getting in the way again. I think January is a good time to start things because people have this natural proclivity to be like, right, I just want a routine. I want a schedule. I'm so sick of like meeting up with people and staying up late and drinking and eating like completely unrestricted, and now I want monotony. I want a bit of routine because it feels better, and generally success is built off good routine. But like that monotony will settle in and you'll be like, oh, I want to change. So you'll like have a big night out and that will kind of throw you off and things like that. So a lot of it's going to come down to discipline and consistency and stacking wins. So when it comes to the actual goal setting, pick something very specific. Try not to make the goal vague. Make it as specific as possible. So as a generic one here, you can try pick between now and St. Patrick's Day. So that's the 17th of March. That's a good, let's just say 10 weeks, 12 weeks, that rough period of time, to say, I'm going to fully commit to this goal. And let's say this goal is, I want to train consistently for powerlifting. So that's pick a number of sessions you can commit to per week. So don't pick the ambitious number, pick the number you can definitely make. Because I've had this happen before where people say, I want to train 5 days a week. I'm like, okay, but what's realistic? Like, well, I'll definitely always make it 3 days. It's like, well, that's 2 days worth of volume that are so unpredictable. Let's just program for 3 days. And if we consistently start getting a fourth day in where you're going in and doing some pump work, that's when we'll consider that. But don't say 5 and then you're always trying to aspire to that. So commit to say, I'm going to do 90 minutes per session, 3 sessions per week. I'm going to train bench 3 times, squat twice, deadlift once with a secondary like bit of back work, like RDLs or back extension or whatever. I'm going to commit to that between now and February or now and March and see how much stronger I can get. Or if it's an aesthetic goal, like I want to drop body fat, try and pick a number. Say, I want to lose 6 kilos between now and St. Patrick's Day. Now, obviously, that's dependent on how much weight you have to lose. Obviously, if you're a lot more weight to lose, it's going to come off a lot faster. If you're quite lean already, it's going to come off much slower. But that's just a random number to pick. Something like that. Try and make it as specific as possible. This is the SMART goal, an SMART. So you want it to be specific, measurable, have a metric that you can measure. So let's say it's your, your rep strength or your 1RM strength on squat, bench, deadlift, or your waist circumference, the weight on the scales, progress pictures. Make it measurable. Make it something that is actually achievable or attainable, something you can physically do. Don't say when you lose 20 kilos in 10 weeks, that's retarded. Don't say you want to go from deadlifting 100 kilos to 200 kilos in 10 weeks. Pick something that's realistic. There's no reason you couldn't, like, let's say if you're a novice level lifter, there's no reason you couldn't be adding 20 kilos or so to your deadlift on average over the course of that time. There's no reason you couldn't lose, approximately, like, depending on your body weight, again, anywhere from 3 to 6 kilos. There's no reason you couldn't see a trend in the right direction on your waist circumference, things like that over the course of that time. So that'd be the way I choose to do it. So make it achievable, give yourself a realistic time frame. So again, you're not going to lose 10 kilos in 3 weeks. Give yourself that bit of a stretch of time. And like that, last one is time. Pick a measurable amount of time you have to do it in. I think if you do all those things, you set yourself up for success, at least in the first half of the year. And I would always aim to take things in that period. Like for me personally, come January 1st, I'm back fully committed to like tracking all my food, trying to get as much good quality sleep as I can, because I've signed up for bench nationals. It's pretty low maintenance meet, and that will keep me consistent with all those things up till the first weekend in March. Then after that, there's a couple of other things I've got earmarked, but the next one will be the All Irelands, if I can get an invite to that. That's in June, so that'll give me a stretch to June, and then after that will probably be Nationals again, so that's November. So that gives me a nice tidy amount of a good spread on competitions to be consistent for, to stay committed with my diet. I generally don't drink outside of celebrations. Like, it'd be very, very rare for me to have a drink. I drank a few Baileys over Christmas. But outside of that would be like maybe a birthday or a wedding, but very rarely other than that. So you want to try and find these little stretch goals. So comps, I think, are an easy one. If you're somebody who's like more so leaning towards the aesthetic goals, give yourself like a stretch. So now till, let's just say Paddy's Day, like I said, then from Paddy's Day to whenever, let's say you have a holiday in June or July, that's your next time frame. And then you might have something towards the end of the year like that. You might have signed up to a photo shoot or a competition or whatever it might be. Give yourself these little things to work towards. Like, give yourself breaks in between. This is why I was saying work with a coach, because at least the coach can help plot out this timeline. But I do think resolutions are good. I think it's nice to have a fresh start. I think a lot of people felt 2025 was a tough year. I personally had a great year. There were some hard components to it, but generally speaking, I really, really enjoyed it. And I'm very optimistic for 2026. Now, I think this is going to be probably one of the, from a powerlifting perspective, looking at, like, say, the Irish PF calendar, I'm very optimistic this is going to be a brilliant year. So if you are someone that's thinking about getting involved, now is the time, particularly because all the meets are available. I think the tickets go on sale for April open in the 11th of January, something like that. So you have so much runway, so much time to do things. I think anyone that's like gotten into powerlifting sees how life-changing it is, and like for like on a social aspect, how you see yourself. This is a major feedback piece I've gotten from people coming off the back of the December Open we just did in the post-comp feedback. They're saying, like, powerlifting has become such a big thing for me. I've met so many friends. I feel very good about myself. A couple of the girls that I coach have actually reached more aesthetic goals through powerlifting than they ever did going to the gym prior to this. So it's something to consider. In any case, I'm not going to stay long. I just kind of wanted to yap a little bit about resolutions. I'm not sure if I have any specifically. I'll probably think of some, because I do think it's a good thing to try and strive towards, because even if you try and like you fall off the wagon a little bit, you're still trying, which is better than if you'd made no resolutions at all and didn't try anything different. But I hope everyone has a lovely new year. I hope you all had a great Christmas. I am very much looking forward to getting back into the regular routine. Personally, I don't even feel like my diet's been that bad, but my guts are fucking killing me. I'm just looking forward to hitting my 35 to 40 grams of fiber a day again, and just having normal bowel movements and not having a sore tummy. In any case, I'll let you go. Have a good one. Just finished my training, first training of a new block. Feels good. Looking forward to more in the new year. Hopefully push something decent at bench nationals. Anyway, see you later. Have a good one. If anyone has anything they want me to talk about, just shoot me a DM. Otherwise, I'll just keep sharing these as is. Take it easy.